first pitch. LeMahieu, Judge, and Gregorius for visiting New York, and we're underway at Fenway. Multiple hit game in 5 of his last 11. He's been among the best table setters in baseball this year. And it's a ball and a strike from Rick Porcello.
To beat DJ LeMahieu, it's never going to be the same way.
Sharply hit to shortstop. Xander Bogaerts is there for it, and that's the first out of the night.
Superhero. He's 6'7", 282 pounds. And then he kind of said 1A, 1B, maybe LeMahieu, but it's, or whether it's, you know, a guy like Reggie Jackson. This guy makes your team better. When you come out of the bus and Aaron Judge comes out.
How good the Yankees are is that they were without him for 54 games with the oblique injury. A bouncer for Devers, and there are 2 away.
So far, the first 2 batters.
Yeah, 2 quick outs, and that'll set up Didi Gregorius. Well, as much as we talk about Porcello's success, he has had a couple of clunkers against New York this year. The whole season series between these 2 teams has been kind of wacky. London with any fond memories. 2 high-scoring affairs there. And in terms of
get momentum, and like Buster said, become more athletic with your pace. And so far, so good for Rick Porcello.
True.
Such an outlier, though.
Still 0-2 to Didi Gregorius, and he's jammed fouling it off once again. Well, Porcello this year an American League high 73 extra base hits yielded. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Gregorius. As mentioned today, just trying for a little sharper pace as Gregorius sends one into the right field corner, just foul.
You know, when you say just foul, I mean there's
enough chairs because there are some roster log jams that might be coming up soon. Flagged down by Brock Holt, and the guy they call the Brock Star around here just showed us why.
Curveball for about 3 to 5%. You may be looking at the #1 game 1 starter for.
Kick the tires on all that as we continue tonight. 0-1 the count to Mookie Betts, and that's lined back up the middle of base hit.
Mookie Betts can
on the outside looking in the playoff chase. They've actually been more productive this year, surprisingly.
And this year's no different for the Red Sox.
Ball and a strike to count to Rafael Devers.
They're starting.
Two balls and a strike to Devers. Well, as the old adage goes,
Trains of thought here. The idea that spring training is not important. I strongly disagree with that because that's where the season starts. You start building your
over. The Red Sox got some answers this year, I think.
Devers expands the strike zone and strikes out.
Fluent for both is English.
On the corner. Whatever.
Xander Bogaerts, the batter from Aruba. I mean, it's cool to see. Who also speaks a multitude of languages.
Betts is edged off to a little larger lead, and Bogaerts has swung and tipped it foul.
What he's been able to do in a Yankee uniform.
On the ground for Didi, one shortstop to another, and the Yankees are able to turn the double play. Now the middle of the Yankees order, Sanchez, Encarnacion, and Torres. Scoreless early on at the fence tonight. One of the many high-profile Yankees this year that. Shot to third, gobbled up by Devers. He made that play with the ball behind.
116 very often.
So one gone for Edwin Encarnacion, who hit a ball hard last night. His home run yesterday was his 20th here at Fenway Park. That's the most for any active player here as a visitor. And let's take you back to game 2 of the series yesterday after.
Encarnacion, very important to this lineup. He does 2 things really well that will help the Yankees in October.
Just gets a piece to foul it away.
It is interesting with situations. You'll see him flatten out more. He won't go all or nothing. Average go down. Your percentages go down with that big of a launch.
Well, he's also good on 2 strike counts too. We can get into that a little bit later.
That's good technology. I never did well in technology in school. But, you know, I got to tell you, the thing about Encarnacion is he's a winning player. Run in to win a game. Take it.
This is where I feel like we are a part of the problem. We, the media. The caller should pinch us.
I'd be in trouble.
There's a base hit. A testament to his 2-strike hitting abilities as Encarnacion is aboard with 1 gone.
He hit a breaking ball yesterday for a home run, a long one.
I feel like he's going to pinch my neck.
1 out, 1 on for Gleyber Torres, who has just made it a 2-0 Yankee lead. Number 35 for the 2-time All-Star. No American leaguers homered more since August 1st than the man.
22-year-old leading this Yankees team, who there's a lot of big dudes in this lineup. Just past Gary Sanchez with a 35th home run. Again, leading this Yankees team now in home runs.
Luke Voigt.
I had a time to nice long conversation with Torres. Groin issue last year. He said when the season ended, he went to Hawaii with his wife and spent a couple weeks out there, came back, stopped in Vegas, and he put a plan in place to get to work. And the thing he wanted to focus on most, to tell you how mature and how smart this young man is. Papi, I was a strikeout. He goes, this spring training I came in and I would take on purpose 3-1 to induce a 3-2. Most kids are not starting till January. He's now starting in October, November. That tells you how committed this young man is.
Full count in 2015. That's the most in Major League Baseball. That's punched to the right side. Another good play by Brock Holt, who's made a pair of them tonight. Yankees 2-0. JD Martinez, Andrew Benintendi, and Brock Holt against Masahiro Tanaka. However, and he's behind 0-2. Just 1 for 9.
Well, if you look at his swing path, I don't want to get zapped.
And he struck him out.
Expecting either to stay straight or come into his barrel, not away.
Here's Benintendi now trying to snap out of an 0 for 12. And Benintendi behind 0-2. 3 infielders to the first base side of second, and it's still 0-2 to Benintendi. Back to Tanaka. Nice play for out number 2.
One of the men.
And Tanaka gets ahead of him, as he did each of the first 2 hitters.
And he kind of tried to slyly say, oh, you know, I kind of pay attention. I know that they're one above us right now. But to your point, I mean,
one of all 3 hitters he's faced this inning, 0-2. Here is his 0-2 home to Holt.
Yeah, and Boone was not with the team in 2017 when they played the Astros in the American League Championship Series.
Still 0-2 on Brock Holt. Again, he and Sanchez taking a little time on an 0-2 count.
And guys, a subtle but really interesting adjustment that the Yankees have made into the mix at the big league level.
I mean, let's look at what the Yankees and the Red Sox have done. The Red Sox have win now, so you don't have to be desperate later.
That is a freight train in Houston. I mean, you said it kind of kiddingly.
After his start, which should be his last in the minors this week.
And Holt hits the vacated hole. Everybody playing him to pull, and he just poked it into left.
And Matty, you know, Aaron Sanchez, even though he's out for the year.
Moreland swings and sends a high drive toward the monster. Tauchman back, and he makes the catch right in front of the camera hole that Alex was sticking his pie hole in earlier tonight. He'll face Mike Tauchman to lead things off, then DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Judge. With the U.S. Open, opening of the NFL schedule, some folks may not have paid as much attention to what was happening. But he's ready to start a postseason series. Atlanta finally lost. Their 9-game winning streak goes away. Atlanta's actually made up some ground on the.
So dominant the entire season. They were pretty much. Seemed like everyone had them locked into the World Series. But I'll tell you what, the Dodgers, if they do keep that advantage, and then.
See some Dodger representation here in Boston tonight. And Tauchman swings and tips it foul. Yeah, terrible.
Has done it all this year and getting better and better. And impacts the game. Oh.
Tauchman has a little doinker that drops into fair territory and bounds over Dodgers and Mets. It's 7 Eastern next Sunday. Top of the order, DJ LeMahieu now.
2 Yankees in the last 40 years have done that. Paul O'Neill and the captain, Don Mattingly.
A 90
baseball of any other hitter.
The 0-2 from Porcello is bounced toward shortstop, backhanded by Bogarts. Fine play just to put a glove on it, but LeMahieu can't homer on the third deck behind the plate. That's usually where I was. There's a bouncer foul to Judge. He's home.
Talking to him pregame about the difference that he's been the last few weeks. And one of the biggest things he talked about, and Alex, you've said this when you've just from the very first.
You know, Jess, stay with it. I have a good friend, Ty Domi, who played
guy. Oh, that's a rocket to left. It'll score Tauchman. And Aaron Judge with a loud RBI single that's made it 3.
And staying behind it. Excellent from Aaron Judge.
And here's Didi Gregorius now. 3 straight hits. And Gregorius pops it up. Holt has it. And that's the first out of the inning.
Thank you. After this year.
So here's Gary Sanchez now. Looks like a march.
Just to find room to be able to sit and hang out.
That one almost hit Sanchez, and it's 2 balls and no strike from Pawtucket. Hey, stop by Bed Bath & Beyond on your way over here. You're going to need a place to sit. A little chopper. That's going to be trouble. Devers barehand against Sanchez, but it does score a run.
Big hit. It's not giving those at bats away, putting the ball in play, being a situational hitter. It's like that dripping faucet that keeps you up.
Count to Edwin Encarnacion, who singled and scored in front of the Torres homer in the second, and Eddie bounces it sharply to third. Devers has this one as well, and the inning is over. 2 more for the Yankees, however, in a now 4-0 deficit early on tonight. Masahiro Tanaka stuck to a couple of runs in each of his last 2 innings of work. It's one of the rare first pitches to a Red Sox batter tonight that missed, and Leon has a base hit the other way. There goes the 0 for 14. ESPN celebrating its 40th anniversary.
That was a cool moment too to see Bill. We got to hang out with him a little.
Go in Connecticut and say, I want to start a regional sports network. They told him, hey, we can do the same thing, but do it national. He goes, let's do it national then. And ESPN was.
Tanaka taking a little time, and he ties up Jackie with a swing and a miss.
Very challenging. This should be the fastball up here.
And Bradley whacks it into the opposite corner, and that one gets out.
We talked about the previous pitch being a great one, a slide.
To get that home run.
A 4-2 Yankee lead, and it's back to the top of the order now for Mookie Betts. Betts sends a high fly ball into shallow right for Aaron Judge, and that's the first out of the inning.
31 strikes from his first 36 pitches.
To 2-0 now. So to 2-0 on Rafael Devers. Another great year of U.S. Open coverage is complete. Terrific women's final yesterday. Rafa Nadal with the. For the rest of you here on ESPN, you'll be with the Red Sox and Yankees. And a strike called to Rafael Devers to make it a full count. Devers jerks a 3-2 pitch foul. A bouncer back up the middle and through. That's a nice job at 2 strike swinging there by Rafa. One on in his first at bat tonight, grounded into an inning-ending double play. The Yankees got on the board first. It's games against the Yankees. That's their longest ever home run streak against New York. A little excuse me swing that time by Bogaerts. He was fooled in it. Well, and when you talk about homers as it defines the Red Sox, even homers allowed.
Lou Piniella used to always say to us, a home run kills rally.
Somewhere in the world, I think Jorge Posada and Andy Pettit's ears are ringing. Buster is switching positions, getting ready for a manager's interview coming up shortly. 2-2.
So Matt, one of the things of how you want to throw, I'll put it down and we go.
To quote Larry Boa, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Full count pitch. And Bogaerts puts it in play for Torres. Taylor made for 2, and that's the second time they've doubled off Xander tonight.
Gotten better for you this year?
It's more at the margins. You know, obviously he's continued to get better and better. You know, the power has continued to grow.
Well, they're still in it, Buster. As we know, they are absolutely taking all these games down the stretch as seriously as possible for that best overall record. Gleyber Torres with a base hit. Homer single for the 2-time All-Star tonight. And speaking of homers, a career high tying 21 for Gardner this year. Hard to imagine.
Yeah, when they signed him, Brian Cashman brought him back, and you know the thought around town was, especially with Stanton as one of the outfielders, hey, you know, he's a good guy.
Particularly with the bad news being given to the Yankees on Aaron Hicks' list, and the big question mark is, will Giancarlo Stanton be able to contribute? Gardner pops it up.
You know, to a degree, with Aaron Hicks going down, it simplifies things a little bit for Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone and company. because if he was there,
wanted to jump out there and define it. But Aaron Boone was optimistic today when we talked to him about Stanton's status, saying that they've
up even sooner. But I think that delay of just making sure he gets the at-bats, making sure that he's ready. Because once he's plugged back.
When it comes to starting pitching. And the third part is, what role is Stanton, who has a 13-year contract, going to play this fall?
Encarnacion not having 4 at-bats a night in the postseason. Torres runs, a check swing by Voit. He went around. The throw down to second base is not in time. So the strikeout recorded and the stolen base. Who has a bigger roster issue, the Yankees or the Oakland Raiders?
At least it's early for the Raiders.
Brought in has even played better than the primary guys. It's really, really impressive what the Yankees have done here.
If the Yankees roster problem is too much, then it's a ball and a strike on Mike Tauchman.
Oh,
Tauchman sends a ball toward pesky pole, and that one is gone. Boy, the ball has a way of playing tricks on you when it gets close to that pesky pole, and that one just stayed fair for
the right spot at Fenway, just around that pole. Probably about 375.
There's a lot of subtle things that happen that we don't pay attention, but on a 1-2 count, Torres steals the second base. Matt, for 4 or 5 innings, and I've been there, it wears you down.
A chopper to third for Devers, who's been busy tonight, and he takes care of LeMahieu, not before another 2-run home. And a 6-2 lead for the New York Yankees as we hit the bottom half of the 4th. JD Martinez leads things off for Boston. Martinez got victim in his first try, one of the 2 posted by Tanaka first time through the order. And he's behind 0-2.
That was the pitch he struck out Tanaka.
Martinez with a rocket to center. A lot of room out there, however, and Gardner makes the catch for out number 1.
And after going down with
0-1 the count to end.
Yeah, Jess, there's been a lot of talks about the laces. Been a lot on a split. You split it right here, and then
hold that thought. Little tapper. Tanaka's got to hurry and gets it to first just in time.
This is a split right here.
But for Tanaka this season, the numbers were not good against that pitch. And so what he did, Alex, to your point, is he started to mess. And one of the points that Larry Rothschild made, I was talking to him pregame, he said, Tanaka's stubborn, man. I tried. Did. He grabbed a ball from 2014 and had Tanaka hold it. And he felt the difference. So in 14, when the first year Tanaka was in the ball to feel the seam, but only with his middle finger, not with his index finger. And that's the results he's seen now, which have been so much better the last few starts now that he's messed with the grip.
59.5 feet, and then it falls off the table. Good night.
Still 0-2 to Brock Holt.
It was cool, though, to see and be around.
Says noted cultural ambassador Alex Rodriguez. Hey, there's an opposite field knock.
Oh, he got hurt.
Oh, what happened there? Mike Tauchman's hobbling.
I'm out here. I'm out.
And you hope his
Moreland flied to left in his first try tonight to end the second. And Tanaka starts him with a strike.
and his injury. Different results.
0-2 the count to Mitch Moreland. And man, it seems like we've said it all night for Tanaka. 0-1 here, second to only Max Scherzer. And it's still 0-2.
The importance of that is.
And Mitch sends a ball high and deep, but well foul in right.
Jess, you mentioned first pitch strikes. You know, one of three things that makes him really.
Thrown strike one to 13 of the 15 batters he's faced tonight. And now it's 1-2 to Moreland.
Oh, my elbow is now, it's fine. He's been able to rehab and still pitch.
Wow, was that one smoked into the corner. And it's going to roll around that runner. That's going to give Brock Holt plenty of time to wrap around and score from first. An RBI double by Mitch Moreland, who singled and scored in front of the Bradley homer in the third.
6-3 the game score, and
Leon with a drive toward the monster. Gardner and Maben looking up, and Maben will play it off the wall. Moreland scores. Back-to-back RBI doubles, and the Red Sox are to within 2. So here's Bradley, who touched him up for the homer in the third. Well, there's been a direct correlation for Jackie Bradley Jr. the last 3.
you have to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, what am I going to do to attack it? You know, in basketball, if they're taking away the three-pointer, then shoot a.
Well, these numbers are pretty dramatic, and this is what we're talking about. Full count.
And Matt, it comes down to ego is not.
In a now 2-run game. Here's the payoff home.
Pips.
Try it again on a full count pitch, and Bradley bounces it to Gregorius to retire the side. Red Sox strike for 2 to tighten up.
Matt, back to you.
Yeah, Buster, thanks. And that's a pair of pants with a lot of pockets, because we're into that Red Sox bullpen here in the 5th. And
21 of the 22.
Amazing. Aaron Judge leads things off in the 5th with a big drive out to left toward the monster, and that one ain't coming back. The Yankees home run barrage continues. Has just reset a franchise home run record. And don't look now, but the Twins, who set a major, that is all recent vintage. 0-2 to Didi Gregorius.
See the negative stride there, and the comp is Aaron Judge.
Not all of them have come against the Orioles, by the way. So let's not just talk about watered down competition. That's not the story.
Yeah.
And 2 strikes to Gregorius. So
The last 7 appearances, but as you saw with that home run, a lot over the middle.
bounced up the middle, and Didi's aboard. Now Devers was a little out of position in the nobody out for Gary Sanchez.
The only thing about that play, guys, like I understand it's been ruled an error.
Pick me up.
Big blast opened the inning. 21st of the year. He entered play 1 for 28 in this ballpark. This season, that is. And 0 for his last.
One blast, one good game. All of a sudden, you say, hey, you know what? I can rock and roll at Fenway, too. So, if anything, like you said,
Here at Fenway. So him pulling the baseball is a really good sign for Aaron Judge. Hitting into all fields.
Swing and a miss by Gary.
Kevin Long, my hitting coach, would always say, Alex, left center field, pull power is what I'm looking for. Don't fillet the ball to right field.
The left-handers, Eduardo Rodriguez and James Paxton tomorrow. A ball also not count out the wild card Luis Severino. We'll have one more rehab start this week in Trenton before rejoining the major league.
And if your best pitcher should be that choice in a 7-game series, everyone's going to get a chance to go at least 2.
I think it comes
That I will count 100% in October, especially if he can pitch early or be a guy in the middle that can actually widen that bullpen for the.
It's cool to see the Red Sox celebrate him pregame.
Encarnacion with a ball flipped into left field off the monster. A booming single puts runners at the corners with one away. Was recalled Wednesday for his second major league stint on the roster. Wow, he comes from third base.
To these righties, almost looks like it's going to come at them.
Catches a corner to Gleyber Torres. It's a ball.
Think about the release. Trevor Kelly, the motion that he uses, but where he's at release.
Still 1-2. 8 in back-to-back seasons in the early 2000s. Now let's take you back to the second.
Balls tonight that have been outs.
Two is bounced to third base. Devers to Holt, relay back to first is not in time. And that brings in another run for out here in the fifth.
He struck out 2 of the 3 that he faced against the Yankees on Friday night. Acquired from the successful out of the bullpen.
2 balls and no strikes to Gardner. League wide.
Is that a thing? Dugout roof repairman? It is now. Brett Gardner's been in your dugout. He was upset.
The Yankees love his fire for sure.
At least once a year where I would be so mad I would almost hurt myself. I would throw the helmet. I would start screaming. I would just go off.
2 out on a 3-2 pitch. Here we go.
Foul ball.
All right, so when I covered Kevin Brown with the Orioles in 1995, he had a series again. I felt so sorry for that guy.
Kept the guy working. And a swing and a miss by Gardner.
Snapper. He's been strong for the Yankees, especially his strikeout to walk ratio. The last 32 games he's.
And for Tanaka, 4 innings, 4 runs. I'm sure he's disappointed. Only 80 pitches and not being able to capture the win here tonight.
Mookie Betts' base hit to lead off the bottom of the first extends his streak of reaching base consecutively. Ball and 2 strikes to Betts. Betts, Devers, and Bogaerts top of the order here for Boston. And you know, to get back to the big picture here, I guess for the Red Sox, league wild card teams have averaged 91 wins as Betts strikes out. That's the first and second wild card teams.
At the schedule and who they're facing, and it's not impossible. And that's what makes this last few weeks. I mean, I get excited when I look at the teams that are playing each other. You kind of, I know the percentage. I think now is at 2 or 3% of them making the postseason. But if you're a Red Sox fan, you're saying, hey, you're saying there's a chance.
Not good in situations like clutch situations, like hitting with men in scoring position, like getting guys in from third with less than 2 outs. And at the end of the day,
numbers when it's 4 runs or less, a night like tonight. He's like, you'll see a dramatic difference. I looked it up. If it's 5 runs or more, whether they're losing or they're winning, it's a.
Well, not only are the Red Sox up against the math, they're up. Struck out 10 in 7 innings. He's given up 4 hits in 12 innings since returning. And the Oakland A's. 2-2 pitch is put in play to first, right at Luke Voit.
and look, if you're the Red Sox, you want wins at any cost. You're desperately looking for any type of wins. Probably being very careful and obviously protective of Tanaka. That's fine. But that has to be your barometer. You have to start facing the Astros every day.
programs striving to put an end to bullying in schools by encouraging youth to choose kindness.
I love it. As a mother, 2 boys, it's reached over 90,000 students with their Shred Hate campaign that is now just growing and growing. And it only.
I know my daughters, the 4 kids, I mean, they sit at home and they live in those computers, and even being very protective of what happens online.
Here in the top of the 6th inning, Voit followed by Maben and LeMahieu. Hot shot to third. Man, has Rafael Devers been busy tonight or what? So 1 gone for Cameron Maben, making his first plate appearance tonight after coming on for the injured Mike Tauchman, and he lines right to Brock Holt. 2 quick outs for Yuli Chassin.
Alex, how do you handle it when you get a absolute run?
On base is empty for DJ LeMahieu.
Did you ever get one bad in your pocket?
Oh yeah, for a week, and it actually can affect your hitting.
2 balls and no strikes.
They will be playing postseason baseball. Wrong league this year. They have the same exact record as the Cubs.
2 balls and a strike. Well, Yuli Chassin just this year started in the wild card game for them last year. Or rather, though, that was game 163, wasn't it? Was that the regular season farewell?
Yeah, yes.
Because it was the Chassin last year in the final game of the season. And he has not had the same kind of success this year that he enjoyed the last 2 years.
1.46 ERA in those 3 starts, and what a difference a year makes. Although he's been strong early showings for the Red Sox.
Beat when he's hitting and hitting home runs like tonight.
Home run game here in this ballpark, having lifted the weight earlier tonight. Had been 0 for 21. 2 balls and a strike from Chassin.
For Cody Bellinger, he's hitting anybody.
Well, on average, you used to at least see the guy 3 times. Now, you know, 2 and they're out.
As he accessed his decoder wristband to get that second set. Same result for JD in his first plate appearance. One gone now for Andrew Benintendi.
Matty, look at that scoreboard.
As Vin Scully used to say. Yeah, it's a series of 2-run rallies. It's a high fly ball out to center. Gardner busy this inning, and there are 2 gone.
And there's that hole you're poking your head out of.
As the story goes, there was an NBC cameraman in the monster so he stayed frozen on Fisk almost on accident and stumbled into one of the greatest. Wouldn't have stayed locked in and probably wouldn't have pushed in on the guy's face like that. It was a kind of a different time for sports TV.
Coming to Fenway Park in the middle of this great city, and we'll come back to that, Matty. We call that a teaser.
Or just a tease.
Tonight, now just 5 for his last 37. And perhaps about the only Yankee
to come in the middle of the game and bring in a lefty to face him, and obviously a Gold Glove type defender at short.
Oh, and the guy that came in and replaced Jeter, will he remain a Yankee?
And he will demand huge dollars.
One hopper to the shortstop side of the bag, and Bogaerts makes a nifty play to his right for out number 1. Here's Gary Sanchez now, hitless tonight, but he did drive in a run with a ground out in the 3rd. How, you know, the Red Sox did a lot of celebrating at Yankee Stadium. Dominated their closest geographic rivals within the division. They've had their way with Boston this year. Tomorrow, will mark. There are some parallels between that team and this Yankee team. Sanchez pops it wide of the bag for Devers, and they're
against. And personally seen and witnessed, and the reason why is they can beat you any way you choose. You pick the style, they're going to dominate. Ball, big ball, they were just a complete package. They were defenders, and then they were good guys, but they were a bunch of mean guys. And I mean that
because if Gleyber Torres has punched the Orioles this year with 13 homers, Darryl Strawberry literally punched. Conan Wells were both in their mid-30s. In fact, David Wells was in his first year with the Yankees in '98 by way of a couple of teams, notably the Blue. Both teams, and this is the one that gets me, had out Brocious in '98, came from Oakland, and became a World Series MVP.
Drove in 98 runs, and the Yankees this year, they got Gio Urshela from the Blue Jays last. Until the next morning, the players learned that they clinched a playoff spot the day before.
Oh, so early too. A lot of factors had to happen that night, right? But
Bronx, Brian Cashman has to send Christmas cards to the Colorado Rockies. Tauchman, LeMahieu, and Ottavino, all former
Left-handed hitting outfield prospects. They might have hung on to Mike Tauchman. If it hadn't been for the fact that one of their top overall prospects is a second base.
Day one, LeMahieu did not do enough of, and they both have worked out really well for the Yankees.
Encarnacion finally succumbs to the strikeout. It's a 1-2-3 inning by word from the Yankees before the night is through. Chad Green continues. He's retired all 6 Red Sox he's faced tonight, and he'll go to work on Moreland.
Where Mariano will come in and pitch 2 or 3 innings. Chad Green can turn out to be a very important part of that roster to really address what's.
And the 0-2 is swung on and missed, 1 away. Buster, do we have word on Mike Tauchman has grown reluctantly used to managing around injuries? Here's Leon.
well, and how, I don't know what we're going to do, or this is tough, or this is hard, but every time staying positive in a way that resulted in positive results and not.
That's a great point, Jess. And the other thing that even if they don't want to hear or listen, all your friends and family, they'll send you. This Aaron Boone has done a fantastic job of being a great communicator, not only to the New York media, but more importantly, to that 25-man roster. In this case,
team has been terrific, and I can't imagine anybody doing it any better as Leon strikes out.
I know.
For Boone to give us some reasons of why he's been so great, and all he kept saying was everything except himself.
Yeah, the guys in the room, the guys.
That's been part of his secret sauce.
He did admit one thing of just the overall clubhouse, and not that he was taking credit for this, but just saying how important it is.
0-2 the count to Jackie Bradley Jr.
Matt, to your point about the Manager of the Year award, the last Yankee manager, the Twins, surprised people leading the American League Central.
Well, the record, the number that Jess talked about earlier, most wins Mickey Cochran put on in the 34-35 campaigns.
He could manage a hit and run like nobody else.
Front office has so much control over everything else now. A lot of the analytics tell you what to do.
Well, that's a great point, guys. And an assistant head coach. This is no win scenario.
Yeah, I think the job has changed because at one point I think the Yankee manager Miller
held him in front of a moving train.
Out of a window.
Oh.
Swing and a miss by Bradley. And Chad Green strikes out the side in the .com for those that are interested in that sort of thing. Josh Smith back to work. Why not? Rich Gardner and Luke Voigt.
We talked about tour work really early last year, October, November, and he gives a lot of credit to Marcus Thames, the hitting coach, who has been fantastic. What they say is, I like him, I trust him, I believe in him, and he makes me feel like I'm a better hitter. Like that.
Out to left center field. Bradley under it to make the catch. 3 Yankees not to have reached base on an 8-run night.
Maddie, you talked about the season he's having, 21 home runs. 35 years old or older to have those stats. Babe Ruth and Goose Goslin.
Good one.
When you think about base. Wow.
Did you get your story filed in time that night?
Yeah, okay. I just walked right into that one.
And a swing and a miss by Gardner for round number 2. Now for the Yankees. Here's Luke Voigt.
I think most interesting tonight, how long will he be out? Gets added to that list. Most importantly, the guys that are coming back, and Luis Severino and Dylan Betances. I mean, I think that was a huge reason why he knew this team could still win without having to give up guys like a Gleyber Torres in a trade.
And Voigt punches a base hit into right center field.
The question you have to
Pinch runner at first is Tyler Wade taking over for Luke Voigt. And it's the second plate appearance of the night for Cameron Maybin.
I mean, yes, 35 home runs for Torres this year, but just what he is, the future of the Yankees.
Yeah, but that's a simple no. Nobody's going to ask you for that. If that, you just hang up the phone on successful. I mean, just look at the trades they've made from Verlander to Cole. Oh, beautiful hit and run there.
Wow, write that down. We saw a hit and run tonight. And Wade gets all the way to third. They throw in behind him where he's back.
Come out.
Got runners at the corners and 2 gone.
Tie goes to mom. Come on.
And LeMahieu puts it in play for Devers. Got to hurry. Throw to first is in time to get him and retire the side without a score. Put it on the free agent market this past winter. For many of us, there wasn't too much drama in where he would end up. Guy who was a Yankee fan growing up.
Oh.
And Mookie sends one toward the monster and gone.
Alex Cora talked earlier today about Mookie Betts being back, all the way back, and he'll take a slider.
Is him not taking pitches early in the count, which he was doing earlier in the season, but being ready every pitch for a mistake, which that was.
Or 100% wrong, but never in between.
Ball and a strike to count to Rafael Devers. Vintage Mookie Betts, I guess you could call it, right? Two left to pay Mookie. Full count.
Where that money goes. They keep him, re-sign him, but you think about it.
And Devers sends a fly ball the other way. Going to be a tough play, but all the way over to get it is Gio Urshela, who is in a shift. And speaking of the Betts,
the ramifications of what happens with JD Martinez is one that, you know, Betts and the representation of Betts is going to be looking at.
Boston. Harper, $300 million in Philly. What does that mean for Betts in Boston? Little chopper. Ottavino has it. Carom off the glove, but he recovers, and they're 2 gone.
Matty, I think the
Yeah, the Martinez case is interesting. And here he is with 2 gone. And you could look at it in one of some producer still at this stage of his career. So why wouldn't the Red Sox make every effort to keep him if he opts out? The other side of it is, who's going to pay that money for a DH? Interesting food for thought. Judge, Gregorius, and Sanchez against a new pitcher on the mound for the Red Sox. Their 7th of the game is right-hander Marcus, a 1.96 ERA in his last 18 appearances. 1-1 to Judge. Two balls and a strike. bullpen gate swinging open since then. We've seen Ryan Brazier, Trevor Kelly, Josh.
Better in the West Coast that does it than Mike Trout. You know, the question for a guy like Judge,
slicing foul,
is on the rise. You know, Pat Riley always calls it the innocent rise.
Right there, he just moved up in the batter's box as the pitch was about to come. And you don't.
When I'm evaluating players like J.D. Martinez or Mookie Betts or Aaron Judge, and I'm thinking about 8, 10, 12, 13-year contracts.
For the club, a ton of guaranteed money, limited returns on the back end. But let me ask you, because we're talking about
opt-out. For me, the question, if I was J.D. Martinez, if I was his buddy kind of in his ear, I would be talking about, first of all, you almost have to, but very smart negotiator. You may go to the Rangers. They have a new stadium. But when you start looking at it, Matt, you don't have a lot of choices. When you look at the grass. And here's the thing, Matt, just once, if you do opt out, you have to be ready to say that door is never opening back up. And they'll, with a great money, guaranteed, with a chance to win another world championship.
Well, I mean, you had the same agent at the time, Scott Boras, and you think one, if not two, that you're like, you know what, they're showing real interest before he does walk away from a place like Boston.
You know, you sometimes you roll the dice and your deal. And I know we regretted it, he regretted it. Sometimes when you have a great situation, a great franchise, great.
He really loved it.
Same story with Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. And there's ball 4. There's next on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Matt, I just wanted to follow up on Mookie as well. We were talking about that situation. Look, the Red Sox have a deal, and if the answer is no, if they get a strong sense that he's going to basically push and wind up on the free agent market.
And if one re-signs at a big number, when you consider the commitments to price.
And sometimes, you know, even from a fan base perspective, whoever raises their hands first is the one they take, because you also want somebody.
Price and sales significantly impact the decisions that you just saw on that list because of how huge those contracts are.
Basically going through rebuilding / tanking, and they might not participate.
Sharply hit one hopper to Devers, who knocks it down, recovers, and then throws wide to first.
An error in one play.
Still only one away. Runners at second and third. Infield in for Edwin Encarnacion.
And that's going to happen. Is a get out here. We're going to catch about 40, 50, 60 ground balls. We're going to get some rhythm going and get you back on track. Don't sweat it.
Gregorius and Sanchez aboard with one away.
Woo.
She moved him in a half step because they wanted to eliminate some of the bad hops. So the Red Sox have done their best with him. And there he is in tight, and the ball's bounced over him. Driving in another run for New York. It's now a 9-5 game.
And the ball will find you.
A single. It's made it a 9-5 game. Runners at the corners with only one gone, and a 5th plate appearance tonight for Gleyber Torres.
28-man roster September.
Hallelujah. I'm hoping it happens. It's not for sure yet, but I keep saying it is. I'm hoping it will.
That would be great.
Themselves with just multiple guys in games, 7, 8 different pitchers. How fair is that when that's not their roster?
That service time for the players. Gleyber Torres shoots one into the gap. Off the monster. More damage for Torres tonight. He's into second with an RBI double.
The signal now is the beating the bat on the roof.
Brett Gardner with a little fly ball out to shallow right. And that's Betts calling off Holt for route number 2.
Come on, Mitch.
And Gleyber.
First plate appearance for Giovanni Urshela tonight. Just activated off the IL today.
Come out.
Hard. And what you made the point of Rafael Devers, game to game, that's exactly what Gleyber Torres will do when he makes a mistake. He will be the guy that shows up early.
Who's the odd man out, right? And for the next 2 weeks, these guys are competing and battling for that position. They're trying to impress Aaron.
On the board. On the corner to make it 2-2. Full count now.
Come out here.
Red Sox player to be charged with 3 errors in a game since Julio Lugo in 2008. That one's for Bogaerts to retire the side. Thanks to our research team unearthing the Nuggets. Line to second base. And Jonathan Loaizaga has 1 out on 1. 1 gone for Brock Holt, who has singled twice and scored a run tonight. New York on the verge of their 13th win in 18 tries.
At least the Red Sox outscored the Steelers today. Patriots beat them 33-3. On the other hand,
Boston down to their final out tonight.
Losses, and even in some of the wins too. Alex, you hit it. Being on your heels, and I feel like unless the starting pitching can really.
0-2 to Mitch Moreland.
Yeah, Buster, I am interested because the Yankees as well, and even if they win it all.
And that'll do it.